Hello, welcome to episode 2.
Here's our blanket, excellent.
Asymmetrical twist. Dropping and sinking.
Notice how
So just notice. Joining us for the second episode of next week. Namaste. Hello and welcome to episode 19 of Namaste Yoga. I'm your teacher, Melissa West, and I am flying solo today. None of my friends could make it today. I want to thank all of you who are viewing this podcast each week. It's amazing to see that over 3,000 people a week are viewing Namaste Yoga and enjoying it. And thank you so much for all your positive feedback about the show and your suggestions. So keep those coming. I'd love to hear your comments. You can send me an email at info@melissawest.com, melissawest.com. And I love to hear your feedback and let me know about your favorite shows and what you would like to see coming up on Namaste Yoga. Just one event to let you know about today. Coming up this February 26th, 27th, and 28th, I am holding my annual yoga retreat for the winter. And I would love to have you join us. As many of you know, I just took a recent road trip down to Vermont to do some training at Phoenix Rising Yoga Therapy. And it was such a great time to go on a road trip. So if you live anywhere in and around and close to Toronto, why don't you come on up and join us for the winter yoga retreat. It's going to be a fabulous weekend of yoga, breath meditation. We do some sleep yoga. The meals are fabulous there. Nicola Lawrence is an amazing vegetarian chef, and we always have a fabulous time. All right, so today I have planned for you some heart openers and hip openers. I know I promised a restorative class, but I really need my friends to help me demonstrate that. So today we're going to veer from the plan a little bit and do something that I put together for you. And I don't think we need any props today, although that could change as we go along. And if we do, I'll let you know. So why don't you go ahead and rest back and lie down on your back in Shavasana, in corpse pose. So as you rest back in Shavasana, start to become aware of your body. Notice what's happening in your body today. So not all the familiar stories that you tell yourself about your body, but tune into the direct experience of your body right now. Just mentally scanning from the head down through the neck and the shoulders, through the torso, the arms, the hands, the legs, and the feet. And notice what's happening. Bring your awareness to the parts that are stiff and tight, or maybe that are painful. But also noticing the places that are free, that have ease. Just really tuning in to what's happening today, right now, in this moment, in your body. And then start to bring awareness to your breathing. Follow the breath as it comes into the body, and follow the breath as it leaves the body. Notice what it's like to receive the inhalation. So rather than being the doer of the breath, allow yourself to be open to receive the breath as it comes in. And as you breathe out, very gently releasing the breath. And as you bring your awareness to the breath and notice what's happening, notice the places where the breath flows freely. But also notice the spaces where the breath doesn't yet reach. And then tuning into your emotions today. So I know some days that can be difficult, some weeks that can be difficult. I've been moody this week, and it's not too fun to look at your emotions when you are that way. So let's be kind and compassionate with ourselves as we bring awareness to what's really going on for us emotionally, without judgment or criticism. And once you've noticed how your emotions are today, tune into your thoughts. One thing that I've been realizing when I bring mindfulness to my thinking mind is that throughout a given day, I tend to go into these thought theme clumps, so that pretty much one day I'll spend a lot of time just going over the same kind of thing again and again and again. And so if you bring awareness to that, what is your thought theme today for the day? And the reason why I find it useful to bring awareness to my thought theme is that the thinking mind is really pretty inefficient. I'll go over it again and again and again, and it never usually resolves anything. And so to bring awareness to the idea that, wow, I keep thinking about this again and again and again, is helpful on some level to let it go. And then tune into your spiritual connection, your higher self, your Atman, your Buddha nature. Just noticing what's going on with that today. And then, given all the areas that you've brought awareness to, your body, your breathing, your emotions, your thinking mind, your spirit, take a moment to set an intention on how this practice can best serve you in your life right now. And then when that feels complete, you can start to wiggle and stretch a little bit, but we will start the physical asana moving part of the practice lying down today. Lying on your back, just allow your body to settle even more. I guess I'm just needing to settle my body since I was seated. We're going to do a practice that was inspired by Mark Whitwell and my meeting him this week. He is a real darling. I really encourage you to check out his website, heartofyoga.com. And also you can listen to my radio interview with him on returning to the body mind. You can search for that on iTunes or find it on my website. But Mark does this beautiful practice, as his website's name and his book's name would imply, of opening the heart. And he's really big on moving with breath. So we're going to take the practice that he did with us on the radio show, with the hands down by the side of the body. And we're going to inhale and arc the arms overhead. Allow the breath to fill into the upper chest. And then we're going to exhale down around the side of the body. So inhale, arcing the arms overhead, allowing the breath to fill up into the chest, allowing the breath to envelop the movement. Exhale down and around. So the breath begins before the movement. We inhale. There's a pause in the exhale, and you'll want to go with your own breath rhythm. So one thing when I was working with Mark that I noticed was that mine was much slower than his. He was breathing much more quickly than me. And so I encourage you to go at your own pace, because that's the other thing that Mark really encourages, is that you do your yoga. You dance in the moment of your experience. Palms face each other as the arms come overhead. As you breathe out, the navel draws back towards the spine, in and up slightly. And then we'll inhale and take the arms overhead, and we're going to side bend to the right side. I want the torso to really rest and drop into the ground, so that both the hips on both sides are dropping into the ground, the shoulders on the ground. It is one cold day here in Toronto at the end of January. You can feel it, the draft lying on the floor. It's minus 15 today without any wind factor. And that's Celsius too, not Fahrenheit for American friends. So as I'm lying here, I can feel the draft from the floor and the walls. Okay, and then we're going to inhale, come back center. And we're going to exhale over to the other side. I always find my spine feels a bit like a caterpillar when I do this. Shoulders dropping and resting into the ground. And then we'll come back center, and I'm going to get you to lie on your right side and If I could get our cameraman to get me a blanket and a bottle of water, that would be amazing. I'm going to roll onto your right side. We're going to take the left hand on top of the right hand. And so the reason why I asked for the blanket is you can see that your head is probably going to really hang down here. So I told you we would probably need props. If you have a pillow at home, you can and just tuck that under your head. You just want the neck to be in neutral alignment here. And we want the legs to be at a 90-degree angle. We're going to stack the left hand on top of the right hand. We're going to breathe in here. We'll breathe out, slide that left hand beyond the right hand, and inhale and glide it back. And the purpose of this exercise, and I believe we've done it on Namaste Yoga before, it's one of my favorites to release the shoulders. The purpose is to release the shoulders, and so the movement really comes through from the shoulder blade, moving away from the spine. And the hand moves as a result of that movement being initiated really closely to the spine. Thank you. Great. And then with the hands stacked, we're going to keep looking at the right hand that's on the ground. You're going to inhale, open that left arm without rotating through the spine or the torso at all. So as far as that will go. And breathe out and close. And again, we're really coordinating breath with movement. Allowing your breath to envelop the movement. Arm bone dropping heavy into the shoulder. And then from here, we will add a rotation through the torso. So we'll inhale, roll open. And breathe out and roll back closed. So breathing in and rolling open. Breathing out and rolling back closed. Great. So from here, we'll come over onto your other side. So roll onto your left side. And at home, if you have enough space where you're practicing, it's really nice to just open the arm and leg until you roll all the way onto the other side. That's a great way to come over to the other side. So here in TV. Here in TV land, though, we always have to face the camera. Okay, so now I'm on my left side, knees are bent up, and notice how they're bent up at a 90-degree angle. And we'll stack the right hand on the left hand. We'll breathe in here. Breathe out and slide the right hand beyond the left hand. And we'll breathe in and glide it back. So the next piece is we will inhale, open that right arm, keeping the torso still. And exhaling back. And then we're going to roll open on the right side. So inhale, rolling open. And exhaling, rolling back close. So all this works to release the shoulders and to release the spine by doing rotation. Okay, and then coming back center, and from here we're going to come up into child's pose. Okay, so we'll come onto all fours. Hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. We're going to breathe in here. We'll breathe out, round up through the spine. And breathe in and extend through the spine. Breathing out, dropping the tail under, drawing the spine up towards the ceiling, lengthening through the back of the neck. And breathe in and tip in the other direction. And then we're going to rotate the spine again. Let's inhale, take the left arm up. Exhale, reach the left arm through, left shoulder, left side of the head, drops heavy into the ground. Shins and tops of the feet stay connected to the ground as much as possible. And then we'll slowly come out from there. And let's do that on the other side too. So we'll take the right arm up to the side, breathe in, breathe out. Right arm reaches underneath the left arm, resting the right shoulder, right side of the head, shins and tops of the feet on the ground, and really noticing the difference between the two sides. And then slowly out, and we're going to make our way up, and we're going to come into lunge pose. So if you've had socks on to this point, then it's a good time to take them off. And also, if you want to roll up your mat or get a blanket for underneath your knees, knees are precious. We don't ever want to, cause them undue pain or wear them down unnecessarily. So let's use a blanket or roll up your mat a bit here so that you're protecting your knees. And what we're going to do is take a step through with the left foot to begin. And we're going to come into a straight lunge pose and hold, opening up the front of that right hip. And then from here, we're going to tuck the right toes under at the back. Breathe in, breathe out, straightening out that right leg, reaching back through the right heel. And then we'll lower that right knee, uncurl the right toes. We're going to sink down through that front left foot to come upright, tail drops, spine lengthens. We're going to inhale, open the heart up to the sky. Come down, and let's just switch legs by stepping the left leg back and bringing the right leg forward. So now we'll be lengthening through the left hip flexor, psoas, and through the descending colon. Notice the difference between the two sides. And then we'll curl the left toes under at the back, lengthen through that left leg so that it's straight. And then lowering that left leg down, uncurling the left toes, we're going to sink into that front right foot, coming upright, tail drops, spine lengthens. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up, tuck the tail under, lengthen the spine so much that the heart lifts up towards the ceiling. And then we'll arc those arms down. Let's step the right foot back. We'll step into downward facing dog. Reaching those heels towards the ground. Lengthening the spine. And then looking at that space between the hands and walking the feet forward. We'll inhale and roll up through the spine, bone by bone by bone. Great. Okay. So come to standing on your mat. And we're going to work with that breath exercise that Mark Whitwell taught me this week on my radio show. And you can download it from my radio show. Also, he has an app for your iPhone or your iTouch called I Promise, and it's on there as well. So, and I downloaded it. It's really cool. I really like it. So, check that out. It's called I Promise. So let's start this. We're going to, the idea with this is that the breath is primary and that the body movement just encompasses that breath and makes that breath bigger. So the body movement, I'm not thinking the right word here, just accentuates, deepens, moves that breath on. Okay? So we're going to inhale, arc the arms overhead, looking up, opening the heart towards the ceiling. So tail is dropping, engaging root lock here, and then we're going to exhale and come on down. Okay, so you want to keep the low back long so there's no arching in the low back. Inhale, reach up, and exhale and down. So you can continue that on your own with your own breath rhythm, which might be slower or faster than mine. Inhale, filling the upper chest with air. Exhale, drawing navel back and up. And then what we can do is make this movement a little larger. So inhale, reaching up. Exhaling and diving forward. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, hinging from the hips, reaching forward. Belly draws up and back. So just notice how the movement, all it does is encourage the action that's already happening in the breath. And the next time you exhale, exhale the hands to the heart. Namaste. Balancing the right and left sides of the body. All right. From here, I wanted to do a little bit more to open up the front of the hip. So we're going to do that with two standing postures. If you want to stand towards the back of your mat, we're going to do warrior one in the short stance today. We're going to take a step forward with the left foot. So both toes point straight ahead as though they're in railroad tracks. And you sink down through the front left sit bone to bend that front left knee. And you're going to really lengthen long through that back right leg. And then I want to open the heart. So we're going to do yoga mudra arms where you interlace the fingers at the back. You're going to roll those shoulders broad and wide. We'll breathe in. And breathe out and lift and open the chest. And then we'll release that. Let's do that on both sides. So take a step towards the back of the mat. Again, we're going to take a step forward with the right foot. Both toes are pointing straight ahead. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, sinking down through that right sit bone, lengthening long through that back left leg. Pelvis is neutral, so there would be no water spilling out the back or the front. So for me, that usually means tucking my tail under, but for you, that might mean something different. We're going to interlace the fingers at the back. Shoulders roll broad and wide. We're going to breathe in and breathe out. Open and lift. And then slowly release. Step your feet together. We're going to work with natarajasana, or dancer pose, an upright version of this that I learned from my teacher Tim Asobal at Esther Meyer's yoga studio. We're going to stand hip width apart, feet underneath the hip bones, and let's just shift the weight over to the left foot, bending the right leg up, holding on to the ankle. And I'm going to have you lengthen down through both legs so that the tops of the both legs line up and the right knee drops straight down. Okay? Engage Mula Bandha, drop the tail. We'll take the left arm up. So you know what, I think for a lot of people, this is the project, just the lining up the legs and knee dropping, okay? So stay with that until you get that. If the knee's out here, then you're going to keep working to lengthening out the quad until it drops. And be very, very careful with your knees. So you never want to injure your knees. They're very precious. Once you start messing with the joints in the knees, it's bad news. So we'll just, once they're gone, they're gone. So let's protect them. Okay, so left arm is going to come up. If you're already at this stage where the leg's dropping, you can move on. If not, please stay here. We're going to breathe in. We're going to breathe out, and we're going to start to lengthen that right heel away from the right buttocks. And hopefully you can see here how this starts to pull the shoulder back and bring the upper body into a back bend. The spine starts to bend backwards. So eventually in this pose, both arms will come overhead and the foot would rest on the head, but that's in yoga journal model land, I guess. Okay, let's do this on the other foot too. I am gonna do that. I'm gonna turn sideways and give you a side profile this time so that you can see that action of the spine bending backwards. So this time you'll stand on your right foot and pick up the left leg. And spend a few breaths just dropping the left leg so it's in line with the standing supporting right leg. Tail's dropping. We'll arc that right arm up. Find your sankalpa, your focus, something that's not moving, and perhaps even recalling your intention. And it's not your sankalpa you want to find, it's your drishti. So find that point of focus. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, you start to move that left heel away from the buttocks. And maybe you can see now that I'm turned sideways to the camera that the spine starts to bend backwards and there's this real opening through the chest here. And then we'll slowly release that. Whew, good. Natarajasana, dancer pose. Okay, let's take the feet wide on the mat. We've been working with this version of forward folding in my classes this week to really work on rolling the pelvis over the leg bones. So we're going to tip the pelvis forward. So this time the pelvis does move. And it's going to roll over the leg bones And you're going to stop when this pelvis stops moving. So for me, it's almost here. The pelvis is still moving a bit. Still moving. But now I'm more moving through my back. So I'm going to stay here. I'm going to breathe in. And I'm going to breathe out and come back up to standing. Okay, so what I'll see a lot with my students with this one, this is not a very gratifying thing for our egos, but very good for our bodies. What I'll see a lot is this. Okay, pelvis is moving, pelvis is moving, pelvis is moving, pelvis stops moving, and they start moving through the back and the spine. So we want to keep it so that you're moving, rolling the pelvis over the leg bones. So breathe in, breathe out, lifting the sit bones at the back. And if you have your hands on your hips, you can feel those hip bones. They're still dropping and moving towards the leg bones. And then I'm going to drop through the spine here and drop the head towards the ground. And then we'll roll the pelvis over the leg bones again to come up. And I'm going to get you to lie on your bellies on the ground for some of the back bends that we're going to do today. Okay? So come down onto your bellies. And we can do a lot of this with your forehead resting on the ground. And the first one we're going to do is half locust pose, just with one leg at a time. And what I don't want to see is you just jamming the legs straight up in the air, and that's just going to really cause compression in the lumbar spine and the low back. So it's not important how high you lift the leg, it's important how much you lengthen the leg. Okay? And I've actually made a decision to stop demonstrating it the wrong way because I think it's not good for my body. So you just know that you don't want to just arc that leg straight up and shorten the lumbar spine, but you want to keep everything really long. Okay, so we're going to rest the forehead on the ground and spend a few breaths really dropping the pelvic bones into the ground, the hip bones, the pubic bone. We'll breathe in. We'll breathe up and gently drop the pelvic floor, hollowing out the belly. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. And we're going to inhale here. Exhale, lengthen long through the right leg until it may lift off the ground. And I want also both the hips to stay parallel to the ground. So the other thing that I see is people rotating the pelvis to lift and open more. So not important, just lengthen. Okay, so inhale and settle and lower that down. We'll wiggle the hips from side to side just to release the low back in case there was any shortening at all. And then we're going to re-root through that pubic bone, drawing up the pelvic floor, hollowing out the belly. Inhaling again, and we'll exhale, lengthen long through the left leg. The length creates the lift. Inhaling and lowering. Great. Wiggle the hips again. So now we're going to do both sides. So pelvic tilting, hollowing out the belly. We're going to breathe in here. Breathe out. Both legs lengthen, long. And then slowly lower down. Wiggle the hips. Okay. So now we're going to add the upper body to this. So we're building here. I feel like I'm building up a combination in aerobics class or something. Okay, so what we're gonna do is take the hands down by the side of the body, palms face each other. We're gonna roll those shoulders back and up so they're in line with the back. Pelvic tilt, lift up through the pelvic floor, lengthen through the low back. Gonna breathe in, breathe out. We'll lengthen out through both legs. Pubic bone drops into the ground. We'll hover the head and reach back through the fingertips. And then we'll slowly lower down. Place the hands under the shoulders. Push yourself up and back into child's pose. Okay, and then we're gonna come forward onto your belly again. I was just thinking how quiet it is without having any friends here today. No friends to play with. But next week, next Friday, is my birthday and I've got lots of people coming to play. Okay, we're gonna roll the shoulders back and up, pelvic tilt, hollow out the belly, lying on the belly. And we're going to press lift up into cobra. So we'll breathe in, breathe out, hover the head off the ground, rolling backwards through the spine, allowing the body to lift. You don't want to feel any compression in the low back. So for me, that's here. For you, it might be higher or lower. Shoulders are dropped down away from the ears. Spine is lengthening, heart is lifting. And then we'll slowly lower down. Okay, and we'll wiggle the hips again. I like to release my shoulders there too. And then let's do that again. I've been enjoying coming up 3 times. Elbows are in tight to the body. They're not on the ground, they're lifted. The shoulders roll back and up so they're engaged in line with the back. Pubic bone drops. We're going to breathe in. Hover the head off the ground. Move backwards through the spine. Come up as high as you can without shortening in the low back. And then slowly down. We'll do that one more time. Did you notice if you were able to lift a little more the second time? Okay, so one more time. Shoulders are rolled back and up in line with the back. Elbows are in tight. Belly hollows out. And we're lifting and lengthening. And then slowly down. Great. And we're going to push up and back into child's pose. And then roll up through the spine. We're going to come up to seated. So come to a comfortable seated position. We're going to take the left hand to the outside of the right knee. So when we're doing twists, I like to think about climbing a spiral staircase so that I'm building the twist from the bottom up to the top. So we're going to take that left hand to the outside of the right knee, and then you're going to take that right hand to the base of the spine and keep it in tight to the body so that it lengthens the spine up. And breathe in back center. And then I always like to give a moment in the center for the spine to unravel. You know, if you imagine if you just wound it up really tight, we're going to give it a chance to unwind a bit here before we go to the other side. And then we'll take the right hand to the outside of the left knee. The left hand's going to come behind the spine to lengthen it up real nice and tight into the body. Pelvis is straight up and down. And then we're and come back center. We'll keep the left leg bent. We're going to extend the right leg out long in front of us. Lift and tip this pelvis forward by pulling the flesh out at the back. We're going to inhale here, lengthen up nice and tall. Exhale, just like we did when we were standing, we're going to be dropping the right hip bone over the left leg. So you're rolling the pelvis forward. The hands are going to stay on the ground. So not to be worrying about reaching and touching the feet, okay? And then breathing in, rolling the pelvis again back up to seated. Let's switch the legs so that the right leg gets bent, the left leg gets extended. Lift and pull the flesh back at the back, lengthening the sit bone behind you so you can root it down. We're going to find the center of the heel at the foot. Inhale, lengthen up nice and tall. Exhale, rolling the pelvis over the leg bone. Folding forward here. Inhale, coming up to seated. And I'm going to get you to rest back into Shavasana, so lying down on your back. Allowing your body to settle into the ground. You may want to do a little knees to chest or a little gentle recline twist before settling into Shavasana. And when you drop into Shavasana, I want you to just reflect back on your practice today. Noticing what stands out for you. What awareness or mindfulness did you have? What thing did you learn about yourself today? And then take a moment to consider how you can carry that awareness with you out into your week this week in a small way. So that your yoga is not something you do once a week or once a day on the mat for an hour, but it's something that you live through your everyday life as well. So continue to rest here for maybe 5 or 10 more moments. I thank you so much for joining us today here on Namaste Yoga. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week. Namaste.